Hey everyone, before we dive into this story, please hit that subscribe button and join our community. Drop a comment below to share where you're from and which city you're watching from. After the video, let us know what you'd do in this situation. Be honest, we read every comment. Let's get started. The faint clatter of forks and spoons filled the dining room until my sister shattered the calm. "Mom, Dad," she said, munching on her avocado toast, "I need more room for my wardrobe." I was thinking Ava could move out, and I'd turn her room into a walk-in closet. The air grew heavy. My coffee mug hovered at my lips, mid-sip, as I waited for them to dismiss her absurd idea. They didn't. Dad let out a tired breath, turning a page of his newspaper. "Not a terrible thought," he said. "She's 23 now. It's time she learns to stand on her own." Mom chimed in softly. "You've been here for months, honey. Maybe it's time to find a place near your job." I lowered my mug, the clink against the table louder than it should have been. "You're serious?" I asked. Chloe smirked. "Don't take it personally, sis. I just need more space. You get it, right?" My jaw tightened. "Space for what, Chloe? Your ego or your luxury handbags?" She rolled her eyes. "Whatever lets you rest easy." I searched my parents' faces for any sign of unease, but they avoided my gaze. Dad folded his paper with precision. "Let's not make a fuss, Ava. It's time to move on." That was it. No support, no compassion, just rejection. I swallowed hard, keeping my voice steady. "Fine," I said, "if that's what you want." Mom tried to soften the blow. "Sweetheart, we didn't mean," but I cut her off. "No, it's fine. You've made your decision." I pushed my chair back, its legs scraping the floor, piercing the quiet. Chloe flashed a smug grin. "Guess I'll start planning the closet." I met her eyes, calm but firm. "Plan quickly," I said. "You'll want to savor the space before life turns the tables." She blinked, puzzled, but I didn't linger. I grabbed my jacket and walked out. Hours later, as the sun sank low, a sleek black sedan pulled into the driveway. My parents, who'd just told me to leave, peered through the window as a uniformed driver opened the car door. "Miss Reed," he said, "we're ready." I didn't glance back. I slid into the seat. As the car pulled away, I caught a final glimpse through the tinted window. Chloe on the porch, jaw dropped, my parents frozen in shock behind her. 10 minutes later, grand gates parted to reveal a sprawling estate, its white columns glowing in the sunset. The driver parked and turned to me with a polite smile. "Welcome home, Miss Reed." I stepped onto marble steps, feeling anything but cast out. This wasn't leaving home. This was stepping into the life they swore I'd never claim. The next morning, sunlight streamed through towering glass windows. The silence was so deep I could hear my heartbeat echo off the marble floors. Barefoot, coffee in hand, I stared at the infinity pool reflecting the golden sky. The mansion felt surreal, like it belonged to someone else. But it was mine, my grandmother's gift. 6 months earlier, when she passed, I was the only one by her side in her final days. Chloe was too busy with her influencer gigs, and my parents only showed up for photos. Grandma's last words stayed with me. "People only value you when they can't take from you anymore." Now, in her house, my house, I understood. A knock at the door broke my thoughts. A man in a dark suit stood outside, briefcase in hand. "Miss Reed," he said courteously. "I'm Mr. Green, your grandmother's estate lawyer. I hope you're settling in." "I am," I replied, inviting him in. He crossed the grand foyer, glancing at the portraits on the walls. "Your grandmother left everything to you," he said. "The estate, the accounts, and her shares in Reed Holdings." That last part struck like lightning. Reed Holdings? My father's company. He nodded. "It was hers, technically. She let your father run it. But upon her passing, full ownership passed to you." I blinked. "So I own the company?" "You hold 51%, he confirmed. "You're the majority shareholder." My coffee nearly slipped. The company my father said I was too soft for was now mine. Mr. Green handed me a folder. "Sign here to formalize it. You'll have full control over operations and voting rights." I signed without a pause. "Done." He gave a faint smile. "This will likely surprise your family." I smiled back, quiet but certain. "I'm banking on it." That afternoon, their house looked smaller as I returned. Not in size, but in meaning. Chloe's laugh rang from the porch until she saw me. Her face twisted. Ava, back already? Couldn't hack it alone. I ignored her jab and stepped forward. Actually, I'm here to return something. Mom appeared, drying her hands on a towel. Honey, you can't just show up. Your father's on a call. Perfect, I said. He'll want to hear this. Chloe smirked, arms crossed. What? Got a fancy studio apartment. A shared flat downtown. I smiled. Not quite. A black SUV pulled up. Mr. Green stepped out, adjusting his tie. Dad followed moments later, confusion etched on his face. What's this? He demanded. Mr. Green handed him an envelope. Mr. Reed, as of this morning's transfer, your daughter Ava is the controlling shareholder of Reed Holdings. Dad's face paled. Impossible. Those shares are mine. Correction, mister. Green said. They were your mother's. Mom gasped. Hurwell said the assets would be split. That's what you told everyone, I cut in. She left everything to me. Chloe's smirk vanished. You're lying. I held her gaze. Check the records tomorrow. You'll see who signs Dad's checks now. Silence fell, broken only by the SUV's faint hum. Dad's voice shook. Ava, why didn't you tell us? I met his eyes. Would you have listened? He didn't answer. I stepped closer, voice steady but sharp. You told me to leave. You treated me like I was in the way. Now you'll report to the person you brushed off at breakfast. Chloe's jaw tightened. You can't humiliate us like this. I smiled faintly. I'm not humiliating anyone. I'm just evening the score. Mom stepped forward, voice breaking. Ava, please. We're still family. Family, I said with a soft laugh. Family doesn't trade one child's worth for another's comfort. I handed Dad a card. Board meeting tomorrow. Be there on time. Before they could respond, I walked to the waiting car. Chloe shouted, You'll regret this. I glanced back. My only regret was thinking you cared. The door closed, their stunned faces fading behind the tinted glass. As the car drove off, their house shrank in the distance, a cage I'd finally escaped. For the first time, I didn't feel pain. I felt strength. This wasn't about that morning's betrayal. It was the result of every time they said I wasn't enough. Tomorrow, in the boardroom, they'd see I hadn't just left home. I'd risen above it. The next morning, the city skyline sparkled as I entered Reed Holdings Tower, where Dad once told me, business meetings aren't for you. Leave it to the experts. Things change fast. I stepped off the elevator, heels clicking on polished floors. The secretary froze. Miss Reed, you're early. I set the pace, I replied, striding past. They'll catch up. The boardroom's glass doors loomed ahead. Inside, executives murmured, glancing at their watches, visibly tense. Dad sat at the head of the table, hands clasped, trying to look in control. Mom sat beside him, her calm facade betrayed by nervous glances. Chloe, in an overly formal blazer, sat in the back, out of place. I paused in the doorway, taking in their shock, their unease, the air thick with anticipation. Good morning, I said evenly, walking to the head of the table. Let's get started. Dad stood, his chair scraping loudly. Ava, this is out of line. You can't just, I cut in. And I will. You're in my seat. He froze. The room went quiet. Executives exchanged uneasy glances. Slowly, Dad sat back down. I placed my folder on the table. As of yesterday, I'm the majority shareholder. Every decision now runs through me. Chloe scoffed, arms crossed. You don't know how to run a company. I turned to her, voice calm but cutting. I don't need to run it to own it. That's why we hire experts. I decide who stays. Her face paled. Dad cleared his throat. You don't grasp the nuances here. This isn't personal, it's business. Then let's keep it professional, I said coolly. You've been losing deals for months. Investors are restless. Morale's low. So here's the plan. The leadership team will be restructured. Mom's voice broke. Ava, please. Dad stepping down, I said flatly. Gasps echoed. Dad's jaw clenched. You're making a mistake. I built this company. No, I said softly. Grandma did. You just took the credit. The words landed hard. His eyes darkened, but I held my ground. Effective immediately, I continued. You'll be a part-time consultant. HR will prepare your contract. An executive, Mr. Dawson, spoke cautiously. Miss Reed, is this prudent? I turned to him. You've been here 30 years, right? You've seen what happens when leaders ignore reality. I'm not here to destroy the company. I'm here to rebuild it. He nodded slowly, glancing at Dad. Understood. Chloe slammed the table. This is madness. You're ruining Dad's legacy over a grudge. I faced her. A grudge? You laughed when they told me to leave. You wanted my room for your clothes. That wasn't petty, it was cruel. Now you're learning the cost. Her lips quivered, but she stayed silent. I took a breath, addressing the room. This isn't about vengeance. It's about fairness. This company has rewarded arrogance and ignored loyalty for too long. That stops now. Silence crackled. Dad looked at me, eyes heavy with something new. Respect, maybe fear. You sound like her, he said quietly. Who? Your grandmother. That nearly broke me, but I couldn't waver. Meeting adjourned, I said. I expect progress reports next week. As I turned to leave, Chloe muttered, You'll never be happy. This power won't fix what we broke. I paused at the door. I'm not fixing it, I said softly. I'm making sure it never happens again. The glass doors closed behind me. Sunlight hit the building, glinting off the silver letters of Reed Holdings. That name once diminished me. Now it was mine. Reporters waited outside. Miss Reed, did you take over your father's company? One asked. I smiled slightly. No, I reclaimed what was always mine. In the car, the driver asked, Home, Miss Reed? I caught my reflection, calm, steady, nothing like the girl who sat silently at their table. No, I said, smiling faintly. To headquarters. The city streaked by, streets I once wandered feeling unseen. Not anymore. Every mile was a reminder. I didn't leave because they pushed me out. I left because I was meant to rise above. I wasn't the discarded daughter anymore. I was the woman who turned the tide. 2 weeks later, the company was stabilizing. New deals were signed, morale was up, and headlines called me the quiet heir who reshaped Reed Holdings. The praise felt bittersweet. I didn't do it to prove anything, but it felt good to know the girl they called aimless had saved what they nearly lost. That afternoon, as I reviewed documents in my office, the receptionist buzzed. Miss Reed, your family's here. I closed the folder. Let them in. Dad entered first, his usual confidence gone. Mom followed, clutching her purse, eyes red. Chloe came last, her bravado replaced by unease, her designer outfit out of place. No one spoke. The air conditioner's hum filled the quiet. Finally, Dad said softly, We're not here for the company. I didn't think so, I replied evenly. What do you want? His voice shook. To apologize. We treated you horribly, Ava. Your mother and I failed you. Mom wiped her eyes. We were proud, just wrong in how we showed it. You're so much like your grandmother. Strong, quiet. I didn't see that strength then. I leaned back, studying them. I'd dreamed of this moment, of shouting, of making them feel my pain. But I felt only calm. I'm not angry anymore, I said. I just learned my value the hard way. Chloe stepped forward, voice breaking. Ava, I was terrible. I said things I can't undo. I thought life was about fame, not character. She swallowed. I'm sorry. For the first time, she sounded genuine. I stood, walked to the window, and gazed at the city's glass towers. You thought pushing me out would crush me. It didn't. It shaped me. No one spoke. I turned back. Grandma didn't leave me this to spite you. She did it because she believed in the person who keeps going when no one cheers. That's who I am now. Dad lowered his head. We don't expect forgiveness. Good, I said softly. Forgiveness is earned, not given. Mom's voice was faint. Can we see you sometimes? Not as the CEO, just as family. I studied her, older, softer, perhaps honest at last. Maybe, I said, but it'll take time. She nodded, tears falling. Chloe reached out but stopped short. If you ever need me, I smiled faintly. I don't. But thank you. They left silently. When the door closed, I looked at Grandma's framed photo, her eyes seeming to smile knowingly. You were right again, I whispered. People respect you when they can't take from you anymore. The sun sank behind the skyline, painting the windows gold. The city pulsed with stories of loss and renewal. I stood watching the light fade, not thinking of revenge or pain or the family that underestimated me. I thought of peace. I wasn't the girl they pushed out at breakfast. I was the woman who built her own table. As the night lights gleamed across the tower bearing my family's name, I whispered, "I'm not moving out. The world moves for me,